what I did is I broke down two things. I broke down why you need a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and then I did the first two chapters of this new course I'm going to make, which is how to make a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So the two things. It's a new idea. I have a course about how to do in-house management and control the quality and just make your business run really well, which is a good course and it served me well. I've been in this business since 2018 and, pumping along. I have a couple really, really good buys that I did, which I talked about. The best one is Delray Beach. I bought Delray Beach in the beginning of COVID and it just, it appreciated like crazy. It's essentially doubled in value in a few years, in like 4 years. And the rents have gone up, and I switched it from long-term rental to short-term rental. So basically, just like blasted through it. Delray is an incredible location, so it's perfect for short-term rental because it's got a cute little town there, and then it also has the beach nearby, and it just has so much to do. It has boat slips, it has events, it has music. It has a lot going for it, and that's kind of how Airbnb works. If you have a location, the house is part of it, and the white glove service is part of it, but really the location is most of it. So if you have a good location, you may as well cash in on it. So that's been really good, and I've explained how to do that, and you can join that course and learn how the in-house management is. But in the last 13 months or so, I've actually made more money from holding Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, which is essentially leveraged Bitcoin, than from the real estate. And I was able to buy real estate. I bought real estate. It's November right now. I bought real estate in August. I bought a 5 unit and I took my retirement account. I drained it. I left a little bit. I left 20%, but I drained the majority of it to pay the down payment, which was a little bit over 100,000. And since that time, it's all the way back. I remade all the cash, which is crazy. Like it's just insane. So I have the original cash, plus now I have the building, and we had to appraise the building after buying it, and the appraised value now is up 100,000. So in other words, I'm plus money on something I bought just a few months ago, which is really insane. So like essentially the cash on cash now is infinite. So, anything with an infinite return, fuck yeah. So I've basically learned that this Bitcoin strategy and this strategy is really important for real estate investors. And I feel like, I've been on Twitter, like looking stuff up a lot, X. I noticed that the people who are into Bitcoin are not usually into real estate, and the people who are into real estate are not really into Bitcoin. But I don't understand why not to merge them. Like maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think so because I've done really well in the last little bit. So, assuming that this is a good idea, I'm going to explain how to do it. So, if you want to just learn the in-house management stuff, go to the other course, Evil Landlord's Ultimate Guide to In-House Management. But if you want to learn the Bitcoin reserve strategy, stay right here, join this course, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay? Table of contents for using a Bitcoin strategic reserve for real estate. You're going to do these things to build as much Bitcoin as fast as possible. Chapter 1, rent income. Chapter 2, cash flow management. Chapter 3, reserves. Chapter 4, security deposits. Chapter 5, refinancing. Chapter 6, profit. Chapter 7, lines of credit. And Chapter 8, credit card advances. Okay, so I'm going to go through these 8 chapters one by one. Hopefully, this will give you a really good idea of what to do with your Bitcoin. So let's start with rent. Chapter 1, turning rent into Bitcoin. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to have your tenants pay you in Bitcoin. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can do direct wallet to wallet. So you give your wallet ID and you have them send directly to your wallet. I use Treasure. I love it. I buy my Bitcoin in Swan and I send it to my wallet. I think cold storage is a must. I think, what's the expression? Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. I think you want to make sure you're hodling your Bitcoin yourself. So I think that's a key to use cold storage. I like Treasure. Nano X is good. There's others, there's a bunch of good ones. Just go on a Google search and you'll see a bunch of them. But going direct, having the rent paid directly to your wallet is pretty good, super secure, and immediately they're yours, so you're not going through any third party. The problem with this is that not everybody will be set up for this. Not everybody will even know how to do this. So what are your other options? You can use some kind of, third party. Like you can use BitPay, you could use Coinbase, you could use Cash App's pretty good. Cash App's probably best for real estate because I use a payment portal to simplify things. So in other words, my tenants go on, they can pay by ACH, they can pay by credit card, and then the payment portal automatically, does all my ledger. It balances everything, it keeps track of everything, makes spreadsheets. So that's super, super helpful. But not everybody likes it. So sometimes people will say, "Hey, I don't like it. It's this, that, it's complicated, whatever. Can I pay you by Venmo or Zelle or Cash App?" So what I suggest is get them on Cash App, and then it's very easy to pay with Bitcoin. Use the Cash App through Bitcoin in Bitcoin, and that's a very, very simple. It's a very simple way to get that done. Cryptocurrency payment processor is a second way of doing it. The first way is direct wallet to wallet transfers. And then the third way, which is not going to be super, super common, and I don't think mine, I use apartments.com, the old cozy. I don't think mine does this, but use your property management software to collect Bitcoin. There's Appfolio, there's Propertyware, there's Buildium, which we use. I've used all of those that I just mentioned. Um, there's others. So some are going to be able to do that, some are not. I actually don't know which one is which. I'm not really up to date on them because I just use the one I use. I like to keep things simple. It's the KISS strategy. Keep it simple, stupid. And I'm definitely stupid, as you can see from not wearing the headphones and recording this with no sound. So I have to make sure I keep that KISS strategy running. And I use apartments.com. So I don't know that you can receive Bitcoin that way. If anybody's like, fuck, you're wrong, just tell me in the comments. I don't mind being told I'm wrong, especially if it's useful. Anything you can add to this is great. I'm just trying to compile information essentially. Those are the three ways to do it: wallet to wallet direct, through one of the services, or through your property management software. Now, there are a couple things to keep in mind, which is you need to keep records of everything, so make sure you do that. You need to make sure you're abiding by local laws, so check your state's laws. Should be good. You gotta this is common sense. You got to do that anyway. Definitely, definitely be careful with that. And there's volatility. Like the Bitcoin's moving all around. So maybe you're collecting not enough rent, maybe too much rent. So definitely the volatility is part of it. And if you're going to hold it, you need to hold it for a while so the volatility works in your favor, which could also be an issue if you do need to use the money quickly. Imagine it goes down just when you're needing to pay something. So that can be a problem. So keep the volatility in mind. One way to protect against the volatility is to already have some stacked or to have an operating account that has fiat in it in case you need to throw money at something. And then the last thing is tenant adoption. Just some of your tenants are not going to be comfortable with this. They're going to be older or they're going to think it's a scam. This is getting less frequent, but some people think Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. It's a scam. So if they're starting to, feel like if you feel like they're not really trusting you, you need to have trust. Like that's one of the keys to being a good landlord is, establishing trust that they feel like you're not trying to destroy them. Because in the relationship, you have the power and they don't. So you don't really want to throw that in their face. You want to show them that you like them, you care for them, you care for their well-being. So if you're starting to break trust with asking about Bitcoin, just back off. You need trust before you need Bitcoin. Trust is going to earn you a lot more than Bitcoin is, to be honest. So I mean, these soft skills go a long way. So don't push too hard. So if tenants are not really used to it and there's there's an adoption issue, just let it go. Okay? So those are my things for using Bitcoin Treasury for these are my things for collecting rent in Bitcoin and using rent to build your Bitcoin Treasury. That said, I don't think rent is necessarily the best way. And there's two reasons for this, or two scenarios. One scenario is if you own the place free and clear, it might make more sense. But for me, where I'm heavily leveraged, most of my rent money is going to the mortgage, to the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, the pity, and it's also going to the expenses, the energy company, the gas company, whatever, the lawn care, etc. So most of the money is going to that, and then I'm taking the little bit that's left over. So that's more a cash flow issue, which is some different chapter. I think it's chapter 2, which we'll get to in a moment. But the cash flow is a different story. How you do that is a little different. So if you're owning it free and clear, yeah, maybe you're collecting enough rent where you can just boom, leave it in Bitcoin. But if you're paying expenses, you're paying expenses in fiat. So you may as well collect that money in fiat. But rent is still an option. So Here's chapter one. It's a cool intro to how things are working in this scenario, but it's really not the best idea of the eight ideas that I have. So, which one is the best? You tell me. But that's chapter one. Let's go ahead and move to chapter two. Thank you for watching.